Hello everyone, it's Chang here. Thank you so much for watching the videos I've uploaded. I understand and realize that someone of you may have only watched one of my videos and therefore haven't had the time to fully understand the story I'm trying to share. So, this video is a complete communication of my story presented in chronological order from my very first introduction to the story of my family's home and the reason why I need to keep working hard and pressing forward. The story of my father, who continues to work hard every single day despite living with a disability, as my mother, whose constant effort and sacrifice have always been an important part of our family. Through this communication, I hope all of you can understand more deeply and clearly the message and story that I want to share with you. Hello, I'm Chang. I'm 21 years old, and this is my daily life as a student and worker in Hanoi, Vietnam. I usually wake up around 7:30 a.m. and get ready to start a new day. After waking up, I take care of the basic daily tasks. I was born into a poor family in a rural area of Vietnam. I currently live in Hanoi, one of the largest cities in Vietnam, where I study and work. This is my rented room. It's about 25 square meters and I share it with a friend to reduce expenses. The rent is about 1 million Vietnam dong per month. The rooms is neither too large or nor too small. To make the most of the space, I only keep the things I really need. This wardrobe is very small, but it's enough for me. This is a combined bathroom and toilet. It has just enough space for daily use. There is no washing machine or water heater, so I usually wash my clothes by hand. I cannot ask for more at such a low rental price, and I have learned to adapt to it. It's not difficult for me because I am already used to this kind of living condition from my hometown. This is my kitchen. My roommate and I saved money together to buy this old refrigerator. Here is a dish rack and kitchen area. The room also has an old air conditioner, but I rarely use it to save money. The weather in Vietnam is extremely hot at the moment, but using a fan helps reduce expense. I am currently on summer vacation, so I do not have to go to school every day. I can study and review lessons at home whenever I need to. I am not going back to my hometown during this break because I have a part-time job that helps me support myself. I am getting ready to go to the market to buy food and prepare for my afternoon work. My room is on the third floor, and whenever I go to downstairs, I make sure to turn off the lights. To tell more about my family, My father had a speech disability. He cannot speak or understand what other people are saying, and he can only communicate through basic hand gestures. This makes daily life and work very difficult for him. And because of this condition, he has very limited job opportunities. Therefore, I have to work hard and avoid relying too much on my family for support. I usually bring food from my hometown to save money, but it's not enough to last an entire month. So I still need to buy additional groceries from time to time. Hanoi is a busy and crowded city because my family's financial situation is difficult. I am determined to study hard. I know that education is the only way to change my life. This is the supermarket near my home. The food here seems fresher and of higher quality, but that also means it's more expensive than what you can find at street markets. These are instant noodles, which often save me during the last day of the month when I run out of food and money. I usually keep a few bags every week just in case. The road leading back to my room is quite complicated and feels like a maze. In return, the rent is much cheaper than in many other places. Today is another very hot day. I will dance for a while and then have lunch before getting ready for work. My roommate has already gone to work, so I will be eating alone. This is my rice container. The rice was brought from my hometown. After cooking the rice, I will prepare the other dish. Today, I bought a pack of sausage and some cucumbers. Since I do not have many kitchen appliances, I make use of everything I have available. The cucumbers will be washed and turned into a simple salad. There are still some vegetables left in the refrigerator for the next few days, so I will make sure with them. This is frozen pork fat made from fatty pork skin. After being fried, the fat produces cooking oil, which is then stored and reused. Making use of it helped me save money on cooking expenses. Cooking at home is both more affordable and more reliable than eating out. This is a lime fruit, which is added to the soup to give it a sour flavor and make it taste better. After about 15 to 20 minutes of cooking, everything is ready. A meal like this costs only around 25,000 Vietnam dong to 30,000 Vietnam dong. I spend about 1 million Vietnam dong per month on food. Every 1 or 2 weeks, I return to my hometown and bring more food supplies back with me. I do my best to take care of myself because my family's income is low and my parents need to focus on covering the household expenses first. My older brother also helped me from time to time. Balancing school and supporting myself is not easy. But when the family cannot afford to help you have to help yourself. After cleaning up, I will rest for a while so that I have enough energy for work in the afternoon. I usually wake up around 3 p.m. to get ready. My shift starts at 4 p.m. This is my part-time job, which help me cover my living expenses. It takes me about 15 minutes to get ready and head to work. Unemployment is a common problem these days, but if you want to survive here, you have to take every opportunity you can. My workplace is located near Hoàn Kiếm Lake, an area visited by many tourists every day. My workplace is about 10 kilometers from my room, and it usually takes around 20 minutes to get there. If there is heavy traffic, the trip can take 30 minutes or even longer. Getting stuck in traffic during weather like this is truly exhausting. This is one game lake. The area where I work is the center of the city, where modern high-rise buildings stand alongside historic houses. Because of its rich history and traditional architecture, this area is also known as the Old Quarter. I work for a tourism company that provides sightseeing bus service about the Old Quarter. The service is called Hanoi City Tour. These are the buses that carry tourists who want to explore the city and experience its famous attractions.
Hello.
I am assigned to different positions and responsibility each day. Today, I am working at the ticket counter and assisting passengers with boarding the buses. My main duties are to approach and assist visitors who are interested in sightseeing, provide information about the tours, and have them purchase tickets. This job is not as physically demanding as manual labor, but working continuously for many hours still requires good health and stamina to perform well. I stay at the ticket counter and work there until 9 p.m. Even though it's late in the afternoon, the weather remains extremely hot and humid. Sometimes I take a few minutes to rest at my station before continuing my work. My work continues like this until the evening. At night, there are usually more customers because the weather is cooler and more comfortable. The city also becomes much livelier. Since this is the heart of Hanoi, there are always many people and plenty of interesting things happening. With a work schedule like this, I earn around 200,000 Vietnam dollars per day,
Hello, do you want to try not see more?
which is about $9. It's not a large amount of money, but it's enough to help me support myself and live independently without relying too much on my family. After finishing work, I return to my room, have dinner, and get some rest so I can be ready for the next day.
Mình cẩn thận cái gương nhé.
This is my daily life looks like. Nothing comes easily, but I keep moving forward. I continue to work hard and hope that one day my life will become better.
Okay.
This is my family's small house. It's only about 60 square meters, around 4 meters wide, and 15 meters long. Because we don't have much space, almost everything is placed in this main living area. Our TV, refrigerator, dining table, and even the family members' motorbikes are all kept here. At night, after everyone parks their motorbike inside, the house looks like this. This washing machine is very old and worn out. It would normally be placed in the bathroom, but because there isn't enough space, I have to keep it right by the front door. Although it looks old on the outside, it still works. This is a small plastic storage cabinet. We use it to store small household items. When your home is very cramped, it's one of the most practical and affordable storage solutions. Our dining table and chairs are placed next to holes that have started to crack. This house was built many years ago, so it's unavoidable that it has deteriorated over time. My mother has a foldable bed next to the cooking area. Since there isn't enough bedroom space, she has always had to sleep here in the living room. This is where we cook our meals. This is my parents' bedroom. Right now, my father sleeps here by himself. Almost everything in the room is old and worn out. The distance between the door and the bed is too narrow, so this wardrobe can be used properly. That's why I replaced it with these clothing storage bags instead. Like the rest of the house, the walls here have also begun to deteriorate. Above this room is a small loft, which serves as the bedroom that my older brother and I share. This hallway leads to the bathroom and toilet. I'm sorry if it looks old and dirty, but this is our real home. These areas were built at least 15 to 20 years ago, and they have become badly worn over time. They only meet our family's basic daily needs. Everything looks almost like a slum, but my family simply can't afford to renovate or improve it. To get to the bedroom, I have to climb these stairs. The loft is only about 16 square meters, with two separate mattresses, one for me and one for my older brother. Even though we each have our own sleeping place, neither of us has any real privacy. It can sometimes be inconvenient, but we learn to accept it. The room has an old air conditioner and a window for fresh air. Outside is a roof above the bathroom, where the water tank and the outdoor unit of the air conditioner are installed. Above the ceiling is a layer of insulation to reduce the heat during the summer. Even so, with the weather this hot, we can't sleep without turning on the air conditioner. There's also an opening in the ceiling that leads to the attic space. Whenever I turn on the air conditioner, I have to cover it so the cool air doesn't escape.
Phải nhìn lên trên chứ.
I will be cooking for my family. I'm very used to doing it, and my family prefer the food I cook. Cooking right in the living room like this is quite inconvenient. Some things may not seem very clean or hygienic. I keep all the cooking seasoning here so I can reach them quickly while preparing meals. My family usually eats simple meals that fit our budget. That helps we learn to live and adapt to what we have. My parents both have low income jobs. And life is even more difficult because my father has a disability. The income is only enough to cover our most basic expenses. As a result, My older brother has become the main person supporting the family. He helps pay for our daily living expenses, outstanding debts, and even my university tuition. Because of our situation, I want to help ease that burden. That's why I always do my best to take care of myself and contribute however I can. Life is difficult, but when everyone in the family works together, it becomes a little easier. A meal for our entire family like this costs only about 50,000 Vietnam dong. My family force spend only about 100,000 Vietnam dong a day on food. That amount isn't enough to buy high quality ingredients, but is enough to cover our basic daily needs. We accept what we have, adapt to our circumstances, and keep working hard every day in the hope of building a better future. That is what I always tell my family. Not being able to communicate with your own family is truly a great challenge. Although my father cannot clearly understand what other people are saying, I know that he continues to work hard every day for our family. I hope that one day I will be able to do something so he can finally rest and enjoy life. My older brother is a kind and quiet person. Because of my father's disability, he had a difficult childhood. People around him often teased and bullied him because of our family circumstances. Although he doesn't talk much, he carries much of the family responsibilities. I know how hard he has worked and how much he has sacrificed to support all of us, and I truly appreciate everything he has done. I was born 5 years after my father, so my childhood was more peaceful
Mày
than
phạt thế
his.
cơ?
I was still teased and bullied sometimes because of my family situation, but it wasn't as bad as what my brother went through. Maybe it was also because I was quite straightforward and didn't care too much about what other people said. I understand what my brother had to go through, and that's one of the reasons why I love my family so much. They are my biggest motivation to keep trying and work harder. I just hope my brother won't have to carry so much pressure anymore, and that he can live more happily while taking good care of himself and our family. This is my dad. He is 49 years old and has speech and intellectual disabilities. He was born in 1977, just 2 years after Vietnam was reunified. He grew up in a family with 7 children, was the sixth child. Since he was very young, he has been the only person in the family living with these disabilities. My dad cannot speak clearly. He also has trouble hearing and cannot fully understand what other people say. The condition that affected his hearing and speech also seemed to have affected his intellectual development. This is simply how he grew up. I don't know if he ever felt lonely or sad as a child, but I can imagine that much of his childhood was quiet and lonely. My parents met through an arranged marriage. Because of my father's disabilities, Very few women would have accepted that situation, but my mother did. Together, they raised my older brother and me with all they had. Because of his disabilities, it has always been very difficult for my dad to find a stable job. The only work he could do was physical labor. Fortunately, someone who was patient enough to understand what my dad was trying to say and decided to give him a chance. That's how my father became a construction worker. Every day, my father begins work at 7 in the morning. He works until 11 a.m., take a short break for lunch, then goes back to work from 1:30 in the afternoon until 5 p.m. It has been the same routine for more than 20 years. He started this job around the time my brother and I were born, and he has spent most of his life working on construction sites to support our family. He wears work clothes that have faded from years of cement dust, sun, and rain, along with a basic pair of protective gloves to prevent cuts and scrapes on his hands. These items may no longer look nice, but they are still worth enough to use. At the construction site, he takes on every task that someone like him is able to do. He works in many different positions and at different construction sites throughout the day. Some projects are simple and relatively safe, while others are dangerous. It's a job that requires continuous physical strength throughout the day. My father was born deaf and cannot speak. Because of his disability, finding work has never been easy. He owns a structure with number and calculation, so manual labor has always been his only option. But physical work isn't the hardest part of his job. Communication is. He does not understand calculation, and everything becomes even more difficult because he cannot communicate with other people. The only way they can understand each other at work is by using gesture. When someone explains a task to him, he has to watch their gesture very carefully and try to guess what they mean. If he misunderstands even a little, he may do the job incorrectly. Then everyone has to explain everything again. I understand that it's not because he does not try. It's because understanding and remembering things are much more difficult for a person with a disability than for most people. There are things that only take a few seconds for others to understand, but he needs much more time. My father never had the opportunity to learn sign language. When he was young, my family was far too poor. Survival was more important than education. At home, we communicate through simple gestures, facial expression, and our daily action. We don't share long conversation or spoken words like most families do. To be honest, there are times when my family and I feel completely helpless. Sometimes we can't understand what my father is trying to say, and other times we don't know how to help him understand us. There were moments when I felt frustrated, not because of him, but because communication was so difficult. But those feelings never lasted long. Instead, they made me feel even more sorry for him. I often wonder if he feels lonely, living in a world where having a simple conversation isn't something he can take for granted. Whenever that thought crosses my mind, It breaks my heart. But there are still people who understand him. My mother can often tell exactly what he's trying to say, and over the years, I've learned to understand him too. It isn't always easy, but little by little, I've come to recognize his expression, his gestures, and the way he tries to communicate. And honestly, I'm proud of that. Because not everyone can understand my father, but I can. My father has worked every single day, no matter how harsh the weather was, from the burning heat of summer to the freezing cold of winter. He kept going. In an entire year, he would only take 3 or 4 days off. It were those long, exhausting days of hard work that gave me the opportunities I had today. I know this is an incredibly demanding job, both physically and mentally. Watching what my father has to do every single day has only made me more determined to work hard and help my family build a better future. Throughout my life, many people have judged, mocked, or looked down on my father and my family, but I have never been ashamed of him. Whenever someone insulted or bullied me, I always stood up for myself. I would tell them that even though my father is a person with disabilities and my family grew up in a poverty, he still raised me to become the person I am today. I have always believed in myself and have never felt impressed by where I come from. My father has never kept anything for himself. He always wear old clothes, most of which were given to him by our relatives, and he truly enjoys whatever I cook for him. Sometimes he makes me laugh because he uses his entire face to tell me what he thinks of my cooking. Without saying a single word, I can tell if the food is a little too salty, too sour, too sweet. Those little moments have become some of my favorite memories. More than anything else, what I have always seen in my father is his hard work and perseverance. So why should I ever be ashamed of that? Whenever I need the strength to keep going, I remind myself of him. I don't know if my father's disability is a gift or not. He never has to hear the cruel words, insult, or gossip that people say about him. In a way, he gets to live peacefully without carrying those voices in his heart. I also don't know how many times he has felt exhausted or heartbroken because he has never been able to tell us. We can only understand by paying attention to his expression and action. Maybe that's why our family has become so close. We have learned to care for one another without needing many words. I once heard a saying, God never takes everything away from anyone. Whenever one door closes, another one opens. That saying reminds me that life has its own way of creating balance. It took away my father's voice and his intellectual ability, but it gave him unexpected skill with his hand. And I have always been incredibly proud whenever his employers praise him for his craftsmanship and how talented he is at his work. And more importantly, he has a family, a wife, a son, and a daughter, me, who love him deeply and continue working hard every day to build a better life together. Have you noticed my father's face? Everyone in my family naturally has a small face, so you might wonder why my father's face is much larger. The reason is that he once went through a terrible accident that nearly took his life. My family had to borrow a lot of money to pay for his treatment, and that is why we ended up in debt. Even though my father still has two metal screws in his jaw, and most of his teeth are broken. My father repeats this routine every single day, depending on the construction site. He takes on different roles and tasks. The average wage for a construction worker in Vietnam is currently around 500,000 Vietnam dong per day. However, because my father has a disability, he can only earn about 250 Vietnam dong for a full day's work. We may be poor, but we are not lazy. We work hard because we believe hard work creates opportunities. And perhaps those efforts have finally begun to pay off. My parents have worked tirelessly to raise my brother and me. My older brother has carried so much of our family's burden, giving me the chance to follow a brighter path. As for me, I study hard and work hard so that I can make the most of every opportunity that comes my way. Once again, thank you so much to everyone watching from all around the world. I never imagined that my family story would be seen by so many people or receive so much kindness and support. Reading your comments has reminded me that no matter where we come from, kindness and compassion can bring us together. This is my mother. She is 53 years old. These are the chores she does to make a living. She often takes on different temporary jobs to earn extra income. Today, her job is taking apart scrap items and sorting recyclable materials. Her work starts at 7:30 in the morning and finishes at 11:30 at noon. She separates plastic from metal in a household item that people have thrown away. This job is poor hard labor, and I know how exhausting it is, especially for women. The place where my mother works is a large warehouse full of broken items. It's actually bigger than our house. Inside, you can find almost everything people uses every day. TVs, fridge, fans, speakers, rice cookers, tires, and so much more. The only difference is that they are all broken. The workers search through these broken items to find everything of value. They buy them cheap, take out the good parts, and sell them for a profit. Some old items still work, so they keep and use them. Just like this pair of speakers. My parents met through a matchmaker. My mother is 5 years older than my father. She told me she was hesitant at first because my father has a disability. But with encouragement from both families and because she thought he was kind and handsome back then, they decided to get married. Everything happened so fast. They didn't have much time to get to know each other before marrying. But as time went by, my mother began to understand my father more. She felt deep sympathy for him, and that feeling slowly grew into love. My older brother was born first, and a few years later, I came into the world. People nearby bring everything they don't need to this warehouse, from old boots to empty soda cans. Outside, there are huge glider sorted material waiting for big recycling companies to pick them up. It looks like a junkyard, but it brings income to many families. These are computer monitor stands. My mother is removing the plastic parts so only the metal is left. Growing up, I could clearly see how much my mother sacrificed by marrying someone different from others. She had to carry much more weight on her shoulder than most women do. She has never been able to hear loving words or have heartfelt conversation with my dad. My mother has lived this way for more than half of her life. I don't know if she has ever felt lonely or heartbroken, but I do know that she is one of the strongest women I ever know. She has always done everything she could for her children while taking care of my father and our family. She acts as the main breadwinner and at the same time take care of our home like any devout mother. After working an entire morning like this, she earns around 80,000 Vietnamese dong, which is about 20,000 dong per hour. In the afternoon, my mother moves on to her second job. This work is related to farming, such as taking care of rice field, spreading fertilizer, and sometimes spraying pesticide. This is when she gets her clothes and tools ready for work. This afternoon, she was hired by a local villager. Today's job is spreading fertilizer, although sometimes she is also hired to spray pesticides. She does this work for families who don't have enough time to eat themselves. Spreading fertilizer helps the rice grow better and yield a higher harvest, while spraying pesticide protects the rice from diseases and keeps the plant healthy. My mother told me that this was the very first job she did to earn money after getting married and giving birth to my older brother. My brother was born in 2000. At that time, life was very difficult, especially for people who didn't have the chance to get a full education. My mother only finished the sixth grade before she had to quit school. Because of that, these were the only kinds of jobs she could do. Besides growing rice for our family's own food, she worked as a farm laborer for others whenever she had the chance. She continued doing this work for many years until my brother grew older. Every part of the job relied entirely on physical strength. Over time, it had taken a heavy toll on her health, especially the work of spraying pesticide. She had to carry a heavy tank of pesticide on her back, mix the chemical with water herself, and spray them across the fields. Sometimes the chemical leaked from the tank, soaking into her clothes and skin, making her feel exhausted and dizzy. Working like this for so many years can seriously affect her health. That is why I love my mother so much. It's also one of my biggest motivation to keep studying and working hard every day. Lately, I just heard she takes on fertilizing job instead of spraying pesticide. At least it's a little safer. Today, she is spreading fertilizer on a field of about 1,800 square meter. Working under the harsh afternoon sun drains her energy quickly, so she has to stop and rest every now and then. I told my mom about all of you people everywhere who are watching and supporting our family. She was so happy and wanted to say thank you. For the afternoon work like this, my mother earns about 200,000 to 300,000 Vietnam dong. However, this is seasonal farm work, so it isn't available every day. She can only do it during specific time of the rice season. This is a small hut built by the local farmers. People here call it a nhà quán. They use it as a place to rest and get out of the sun while working in the fields. After finishing her work, my mom will also rest here, get her energy back for her daily tasks. Everything here is so peaceful. Besides farming, my mother does another job. She collects the dry incense sticks and takes them to a nearby workshop. These are incense sticks dried under the sun. They are made by mixing fragrant wood, powder like agarwood, cinnamon, or sandalwood with natural glue and water to create a soft paste. This mixture is then rolled around thin bamboo sticks before being fully dried. In Vietnam, burning incense is a long-standing spiritual tradition and a vital part of our culture. Almost every family burns incense to show respect to their ancestors. It shows our deep gratitude to our roots and connects the living world with the spiritual world. This is the job my mother has done the longest, probably almost 10 years. Today, third, it has become just a side job to earn a little extra income. After years of doing this work, her knees have started to ache, making it very painful to work constantly or bend down to carry heavy bundles of incense. When my brother and I were young, we used to have her with this, but now that we are both studying and working in the city, she has to do almost everything by herself. Along with collecting incense sticks, another task is rolling paper by hand to finish the final product. I used it to do that too, just to earn a little extra pocket money. Every time she finishes collecting a bat of incense, no matter how light or heavy, my mother is paid about 80,000 Vietnam dong. It isn't a lot of money, but it helps cover part of our family's daily living expenses. After a long and tiring day of work, my mother comes home and takes on another role, the homemaker. She starts preparing dinner for the family. Even though our family has gone through many hardships, my mother has always done her absolute best to take care of everyone at home. Today, she is cooking braised pork with green bananas. It is a simple dish, very quick and easy to make, and I especially love it. I love my mother so much. Together, my parents have done everything they could to raise my sibling and me, and we are deeply grateful for everything they have done for us. Their love, sacrifice, and hard work have become our biggest motivation to keep moving forward and strive for a better life. My family and I would like to send our sincere thanks to all the viewers who have encouraged and supported us. Your kind words and support have not only warmed her heart, but also given our family the strength and motivation to keep going toward a brighter future. We very thank every single one of you for listening to our story, for understanding us, and for showing our family such great kindness and love. Thank you so much, everyone. We are truly, truly grateful. After saving up for a while, my brother managed to set aside a little bit of money. Our family then decided to use our lands as collateral to get a bank loan and pay the interest monthly. We plan to borrow a boat to third of the total cost to build the house. This is something he has been thinking about or planning for a very long time, even before this YouTube channel existed. It was already a goal he was determined to achieve no matter what. It might be a risky decision, but looking at the current state of our home, my brother just doesn't want our family to keep living in a place that could be dangerous at any time. I heard someone say, taking a risk is better than living with regret. Maybe my brother chose to take that risk because he wants our parents to have a proper living space where they can enjoy their old age peacefully and happily. And thanks to everyone's support, our family has gained even more strength and motivation. Having a safe and decent place to live, at least we will have more energy to keep working hard and do our best to pay off that debt. Even though our family's situation isn't the best, we are still trying our hardest every day to make things better. That's really all I want to share with you today. I'm not sharing these stories to ask for sympathy or to put on a show. I just want to share the real story of my life and my family. Our life is not easy right now, but we are working hard every single day to make it better. That is what I really want to tell you. Thank you so much for watching until the very end. It means the world to me, and it gives me so much motivation to keep going. My family and I still have a long journey ahead, and I hope you will all stay with us to follow along. I am truly grateful for and cherish each of you. See you in the next videos.